Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. And today what we're doing is we're doing an unboxing on the Røde Wireless Go 2 microphone set. For those of you who are subscribed to the channel, you'll know that I've previously owned the Røde Wireless Go 1, the original, and I also currently have the Saramonic Blink 500 Pro. So what we'll do is we'll do an unboxing and we'll also do a comparison between these and just take a look at basically any of the improvements and whether or not this is worth buying over the Røde Wireless Go 1. But before we dive in, please, if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to the channel down below. Also hit the bell icon, that way you'll be notified about any up and coming new videos, and also if you could give this video a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate that as well. So with that said, let's dive in. So the Røde Wireless Go, the original one, came in this sort of packaging. So if I just put them side by side, as you can see, they're pretty much similar. When you actually compare this against the Saramonic Blink, as you can see, I'm expecting to receive a lot less in terms of items inside the packaging for the Røde. They have made a few very big changes in terms of the Røde Wireless Go. They fixed a couple of the sort of issues that were prevalent in the original one, and obviously this one, the biggest difference is the fact that you can buy it in a two transmitter and one receiver setup. As with the original, getting into the packaging is not very easy at all. This seems to be a common theme with all of the Røde packaging. Okay, and we are in. So let's take a look at what we actually get inside the packaging. This is how it's actually presented. So if we first pull out this side of things, and what we'll see is we do have a new sleeve, and I do have the original one just here. So what we'll do is straight after the unboxing, we'll take a look at what we get. So firstly, we get a little bag of goodies, so wiring, a couple of cables in there. We get a bigger pouch to actually fit everything into it. Now, a couple of people have already commented on the fact that they wish that this actually had dividers on the inside, for the simple reason that the biggest area of damage for this microphone set when you're actually transporting it is probably going to be banging into each other. So the microphones and the transmitters, the transmitters and the receivers banging into each other, as opposed to actually getting damaged by external forces. So that's everything out of the box, and this is basically how it's presented, just in a piece of card. So if we unfold this, first thing we see is some wind muffs or dead cats, and these, thankfully, they have made a major improvement to. So if you can see there, you might just be able to pick it up. These now have a sort of bayonet locking system, rather than the old style of literally just push on and that's it. The old ones were useless. I hated them. They didn't work at all. These ones seem to be a much better design from early reviews that I've seen. Once I've tried it out, I'll be able to tell you better how long they actually last. Røde are the only company that I've ever seen that actually produce their own silica gels, so that's kind of funny. So let's get these removed from the packaging, and what we'll do is we'll just move this to the side for now. Let's take a look at, just get all of the plastic removed. Won't be needing those. Now, I'm not a fan of the ultra glossy fronts that they actually put on these units, for the simple reason that they're never going to stay like that. They're always going to end up getting scratched up really quickly. Right, let's turn them on and see if we have any juice. Okay, so there we have it. Everything is powered up, and as you can see, we have some signals coming through. Now, addressing the issues that I had with the original ones, so first thing I'll do is I'll just test the dead cats, and what you have is you have two little marks on the dead cat, as well as a sort of rotation image on the microphone itself or the transmitter. And what you want to do is basically line them up, which is easier said than done with all of the sort of material in the way. Oh yeah, it pushes in and then it rotates, and now that's nice and solid. So that's instantly a much better design. It's a big improvement over the originals, so that's first things ticked. Now the second issue that I had with the original system was the fact that they only really had 3 steps of gain adjustment. So they had low, medium and high. With these ones, they won't work right now, because in order to unlock that feature you do have to hook it up to the desktop app and basically change some of the, firstly it's going to need a firmware update, because I'm pretty sure these won't come with the latest firmware, and secondly it allows you to unlock a few of the features, one of those being internal recording. The main reason I actually purchased this was, as you can see, I'm currently using my Saramonic Blink 500 Pro system, and the reason I have the actual transmitter attached and not one of the lav mics as we have here is because this lav mic actually failed on me last week, and it actually resulted in one video being completely ruined, and another one had the occasional dropout here and there. Originally I didn't know what it was. I've tested several videos with and without the microphone, the lav mic, and I've diagnosed that this was the actual cause of the fault. But the one thing about the Rode Wireless Go system is that the whole time I was actually using the original system, I never had any issues with dropouts, reliability or anything like that. Now what I have also done is I have also purchased the Rode Wireless Go microphone as well. Well, not the Rode Wireless Go, but their lav mic if you like. So that should be coming in the next few days, so I'll do an unboxing on that and just do a few samples with and without that as well. So with that done, let's take a look at what else we get in the packaging. So this is a new style of TRS cable that they actually provide, and the whole point of this one is that it's sort of rigid, so you can kind of maneuver it into different positions, and basically plug it into your camera and have it twisted out the way so it's not obstructing any screens, any buttons, any cage, anything else that you might have on the actual camera itself. Alongside that you get some USB-A to USB-C cables. These, as traditional style with Rode, are incredibly short, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. Where I actually have these set up, I'd probably prefer slightly longer than this, but it's not the end of the world with this size cable. What it does do is, if you are running these off a power bank or something like that, it does mean that you've got a little less cable to actually worry about in terms of tidying up. Right, so just looking at the actual units themselves, other than the top sort of setup, everything else is identical. So what I'll do is I'll pull out one of the originals and we'll take a look at them side by side. So this is the original sort of wind muff, the one on the right. As you can see, it's got the sort of little red tabs. The one on the left has a bayonet locking system, so as I said, that's instantly better. Taking a look, what I'll do is I'll just turn all of these off. Looking at them side by side, there we have the original on the right and the new one on the left. My left, that is. It'll probably be the opposite for you. Looking at the top, everything is pretty much identical apart from the new bayonet locking system, so I'll keep it the same way. So there's the top. On the side we have the charging port, same side. On the bottom we still have the sort of power and mute button. The mute button I believe you can disable in the app if you don't want it accidentally disabling, and the glossy front is still exactly the same. Now the one thing that I wish that they had incorporated would have been some screens on the transmitters as well. What we'll do is we'll just quickly take a look at the transmitters. We'll just quickly take a look at the receivers as well. And for this, what I'll do is I'll just turn them back on just so then you can actually see any differences in the displays. So now you should be able to see the difference in terms of the information that you're receiving, as well as any sort of gain levels that they're automatically set on. So this one's actually set on the highest. This one, what we'll do is, I'm not sure whether you can actually adjust the gain. So yeah, that's purely just mute. So what you do is just on the bottom there you have a 1/2 button, and if I just block out my face, when you click on it, what happens is it switches between 1 and 2. So you might just be able to see that there, and that then enables you to firstly just mute it. It doesn't look like it allows you to make any amendments whilst you're actually in a recording. unlike the original, which I believe we could actually, yeah, you can actually make changes whilst everything's up and running. Okay, so that is a look at everything that you actually get. In comparison to the Saramonic, these are both a very similar price point. So the Saramonic, I believe, cost me roughly around 280-ish, and the Rode Wireless Go kit comes in at around about 285. Now with the Saramonic, you get this big box, as I mentioned at the start, and the thing about the big box is you also get a load of other accessories. So you get 2 microphones, 2 lav mics, that is, you get dead cats, you get cables, you get a load more, you get a connection for both TRS as well as TRRS straight out the box. So basically you're getting a lot more for your money. However, obviously having experienced this, and the main reason I've actually purchased the Rode Wireless Go 2 is because of the backup recording. So obviously I had that experience where I'd recorded this video and I came to it, and the following day when I was actually trying to edit it, and it was basically completely unusable. The start had 1 or 2 dropouts every now and then, which I was trying to work around, and then I got about halfway through, and after that point it was just completely unusable. After that I kind of looked at it and I thought, I can't really rely on the Saramonic, unfortunately, once again. So the original Saramonic Blink 500 had a very similar issue. On the lowest and highest gain settings it was fine. In the middle it would give me a sort of chopping sound. The Saramonic Blink 500 Pro I'd hoped had actually resolved that, and obviously the fact that this came with a charging case and it made it really nice and easy to basically just chuck everything in. It was just more convenient, but it's had a few issues. So firstly, for those of you who haven't watched my video on that, if you go and watch that video you'll notice the issues that I've had with that. I'll link that up in a card in the top right. Since then, and if we just take a look at the sort of size comparison as well between the Blink 500 Pro 2 and the transmitter for the Rode Wireless Go. As you can see, it's much smaller. In terms of battery life, I think they'll probably be about the same. The biggest difference here is the fact that obviously you don't get a charging case. When I was looking at the Rode Wireless Go 2, yes, the charging case still kind of irked me, the fact that they've still not included some sort of charging solution like that, and it's kind of awkward when you're charging these back up again after you've used them, because generally what I like to do is charge everything up after I've actually made use of it, so it's ready for the next time, ready to go. So that's a little bit more awkward. But even this, I've had issues with the charging case draining, even when I've not used these for periods of like 2 or 3 days. I'll come back to it in the batteries. If I just open it, you'll see it's got some battery lights on the front. You may not be able to see that, but right now it's basically on one light. Now this was fully charged a couple of days ago, and I've not really filmed anything with it since. So it's kind of disheartening, the fact that these are draining battery even when they're not in use. The other thing is, when I first got it, obviously I had that issue with one of the, in fact it was the receiver not actually charging up through the case. So they're a little bit more awkward in terms of charging, but and the main reason I went for these was, the biggest feature for me is the fact that they have that backup recording. So what you have to do is you have to update the firmware, go into the app on a desktop, because they don't currently have a mobile app that's actually working that will enable you to do this. But basically what it does is it enables you to sort of start a recording as soon as both of these turned on. So in order for this to work, you have to have a transmitter and a receiver both switched on, and you have to then turn one of them off. So if one of them, say for example the battery dies on this, I think it doesn't actually save your recordings, but what it does do is, let's say for example I'm doing this normal sort of talking head scenario, it enables me to actually do a video. And in theory, I don't even need this connected to my camera, so I don't even need the transmitter to actually be, the receiver to be plugged into the camera. I can literally just keep this anywhere, and as long as I turn them both on and both off, it's going to have synced that recording. Now, would I want to do that? Probably not, because I'd probably prefer to have the recording via the internal video, so it'll be in the same file. But it does at least give me that option where, if I'm using a particular camera, and this is a hint for things to come, that doesn't have an audio input, it means that I can then make a recording without having to worry about plugging in a TRS cable or any type of physical cable into that particular camera. As well as that, obviously it gives you that peace of mind that you've got worst case scenario, let's say the camera is tripped out or something's not gone right, or if you've gone out of range, because obviously these things have a much improved range. So I believe the original ones were something like 100 meters. These ones I believe are something, not meters, I think it's feet. I think the originals were 100 feet, and these I believe have been doubled to 200 feet distance. Now I'm never going to use it for that. This is the typical scenario, or possibly when I'm literally just a little further back, or for the sort of personal videos that we do around the house, just when the kids are running around the house, and if I put one of these on my daughter while she runs upstairs, it'll still keep signal. And I have tested it with that, but I'll do some more tests as well. But yeah, this in terms of range, yeah, they've improved it, but you still get that thing where occasionally if you turn around and your body's blocking it, you can still have dropouts. And obviously being inside for most of my videos, I've probably got other items on the same sort of frequency. So I believe this uses the 2.4 gigahertz band. So you're always going to have Wi-Fi and other things interrupting. So just in case that ever happens, I basically have a backup of all my audio for that particular day. Stored on the actual device. And even if you choose uncompressed, you have two options. You have compressed and uncompressed. It still gives you 7 hours worth of recording on the unit before it starts to overwrite itself, and that's more than enough for what I'm doing. I'm not making any videos longer than 7 hours, even though it may seem like it. But yeah, so that is a first unboxing and first look of the Rode Wireless Go 2. What we'll do is I'll have a little play about with these, and what I'll do is I'll have some comparisons coming between the Rode Wireless Go, the Saramonic, as well as the Rode Wireless Go 2. And once the lav mic arrives, I'll also be doing some tests with that as well. Main reason I've gone for that is because I'm kind of fed up of having these sort of normal cables that just fail on you. I'm hoping that the sort of Kevlar cable that they've sort of advertised it as having will actually work to make it a bit more reliable and make sure that I don't have any of those dropouts when I'm actually using them, because generally I don't like to have it like this. I don't like to have the actual transmitter on show. Firstly, because the lav's just easier to hook onto your clothes, and secondly, because I actually prefer just putting this in my pocket. That way you're a bit more mobile. With this, you've got a lot more weight towards obviously your collar, and with that, obviously the weight of a lav mic is a lot less. So in terms of doing unboxing and things like that, I'd much rather just use the lav mic. But yeah, so that is the unboxing and first look. As I said at the start of the video, if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you won't miss out on any of the further test videos that I actually do for this. I do also have a lot of other videos coming, a lot more products coming. So yeah, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe and hit the bell icon, as well as giving this video a thumbs up. And other than that, thanks very much for watching.